Ever get that feeling? You finish a whole article or a chapter and it's like, poof, gone. It's happened to all of us, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. It's super frustrating. Like, what was the point of even reading it?
Exactly. That's why we're diving into some proven strategies to help you actually remember what you read. Think of it as turning reading time into knowledge you can use, and even getting those aha moments.
That's the goal. No more feeling like information just washes over you.
Right. So we've been digging into this practical guide on reading retention. And one of the biggest things it stresses is starting with a purpose.
Purpose. You mean like knowing why you're even picking up the book in the first place?
Exactly. The guide makes this point that before you even crack it open, ask yourself, why am I reading this? Whether it's for work, for pleasure, to learn a new skill, whatever it is, having that clear goal in mind actually makes you a more focused, alert reader.
Makes sense. Like your brain knows what to pay attention to.
Totally. And then building on that focus, there's a whole bunch of active reading techniques the guide talks about.
Active reading, so not just zoning out and skimming the words.
Definitely not. We're talking about engaging with the text, right? So things like underlining or highlighting key ideas as you go. I know some people are hesitant to mark up their books, but it can be really powerful.
It's like having a conversation with the author, leaving your own little notes.
Exactly. And then there's the whole thing about jotting down notes, whether it's in the margins or in a separate notebook, and summarizing each section in your own words. That one really stood out to me. Have you ever tried that?
Summarizing. Oh yeah, all the time. It forces you to really process what you just read and then put it into your own terms. It's way better than just assuming you understood it.
100%. And speaking of making things stick, the guide spends a good chunk of time on spaced repetition. Have you heard of that?
Spaced repetition. Yeah, it's like the idea of reviewing stuff at certain intervals, right?
Yeah. The guide suggests revisiting the material after an hour, then a day, then a week later, and then finally after a month. They recommend using flashcards, either the old school kind or digital ones like Anki, to quiz yourself. Apparently, this plays into how our brains naturally solidify memories over time, kind of like hitting the save button after making changes to a file.
Oh, I like that analogy. So it's not just cramming everything in at once, it's about revisiting it over time.
Right, it lets the information sink in. Another technique they highlight is teaching. Have you ever noticed how when you have to explain something to someone else, you suddenly understand it way better yourself?
Oh, totally. Like, if I can explain it simply, it means I actually get it. Otherwise, it all gets jumbled in my head.
Exactly. And even if you don't have a student on hand, just talking it out loud helps. And the guide also gets into this cool idea of visualization.
Visualization, so like making pictures in your head of what you're reading.
Yeah, creating mental images or even diagrams for abstract ideas. They specifically talk about mind maps as a visual way to connect different concepts.
I've tried that with brainstorming before, actually. It's pretty helpful. It's like your notes come alive or something.
It definitely makes things more engaging. And the guide also touches on something I think we all struggle with: reading pace.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely a speed reader, but sometimes I wonder if I'm actually absorbing anything.
I know what you mean. Especially with complex stuff, the guide recommends slowing down, reading more deliberately, and actually pausing to reflect on what you just read.
Pausing, like to let it sink in.
Exactly. They say that sometimes reading less in one sitting, but really focusing on deep comprehension is way more effective in the long run.
Okay, that's making me rethink my whole approach. So how do you actually make those reflections stick?
Well, the guide suggests keeping a reading journal.
A reading journal. What would I even put in that?
It's like a space to jot down key takeaways, any personal insights you had, and most importantly, connecting what you're reading back to your own experiences and prior knowledge.
Interesting. So it's like weaving it into your own understanding of the world.
That's exactly it. Those personal connections can be huge memory anchors. And then there are the more practical tips, like setting up your reading environment for success.
Right. Like a comfy chair and good lighting.
Those help, for sure. But it's more about minimizing distractions. So things like putting your phone on silent, or even better, in another room. And maybe trying the Pomodoro technique, where you do focused work for 25-30 minutes and then take a break. It's surprisingly effective.
Yeah, I can see how creating that focused space would signal to your brain that it's time to really concentrate. So are we saying that remembering what you read is basically just about having the right tricks?
It's definitely more than just tricks. The main takeaway from the guide is that remembering what you read is an active process. It takes effort, but it's totally worth it.
So it's not just about passively absorbing words. You have to engage with the material almost like you're having a conversation with it.
Right. It's about creating a dialogue with the text and with yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thinking back on what we've discussed, all of these techniques actually tie back to one key idea from the guide, linking new information to what you already know.
Oh, that's a good point. So instead of treating new information as these isolated facts, you're trying to integrate it into your existing knowledge.
Precisely. Our brains are much better at remembering new stuff when it fits into our existing frameworks. So think about the last thing you read. Which of these techniques could you apply right now to get more out of it?
And what new connections might you find if you go back and revisit it with a specific purpose in mind?
Great questions to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everybody.